Hello and welcome to the No One Asked You podcast. This series, I am once again joined by my wonderful co-host, That Darn Kitty.
Dorkus and I are sharing our experience reading The Way of Kings for the first time. Each episode we will summarize what we've read and discuss the experience along the way.
This is Storming the Archives, The Way of Kings, and today we discuss Chapter 60.
Chapter 60!
Chapter 60, That Which We Cannot Have. Adolin lays out his arguments as to why Dalinar must not retire. To his surprise, Dalinar accepts the arguments and acquiesces, not telling his son that he had already made the decision not to retire. Dalinar reflects on the Storm Warden's growing popularity. He considers their usefulness, though they come very close to predicting the future. Adolin still does not trust Sadeas. Navani wonders if Sadeas was behind the attempt on Elhokar's life, but Dalinar does not believe that to be the case. Renarin inquires about a new Fabrial Navani wears. She demonstrates its use on Adolin. The Fabrial is capable of removing the sense of pain without removing all feeling. Navani hopes it to be very useful in the hands of a surgeon. Navani believes they live in a special time for the advancement of Fabrial science. Adolin asks about being able to create shard blades. Navani suspects that technology had been lost in previous ages, but Dalinar rejects the premise as he saw firsthand the technology levels of previous ages. Mid-conversation, a high storm starts. Dalinar finds himself in a large room with pillars, mid-conversation with a youthful and regal man. He wears the symbol of the Knights Radiant. The man laments that they are never ready for the desolations. The man hopes Dalinar will have wisdom to share. The man states, Alakavish was a surge binder. He should have known better, and yet the Nahel bond gave him no more wisdom than an ordinary man. Alas, not all Spren are as discerning as Honor Spren. Dalinar does not know what a surgebinder is. The man laments that they must all be better. He seems to lament that their powers might actually be proof of some sort of divine election. They step onto a balcony where Dalinar sees Kholinar. The stone formations are recognizable, though less aged than in his own time. Then he sees the death and destruction. Countless bodies and creatures of stone lay scattered throughout the city. The man again laments the desolations. 11 years of war, and 9 out of 10 people I once ruled are dead. Many nations have been wiped from existence. Dalinar quotes The Way of Kings, to which the man states, Using my own sayings against me again, Karm? The man is Noadon. He wants to step back from leadership, but Dalinar insists he must not. Noadon asks Dalinar what to do. He no longer has faith in people. Dalinar wonders if this vision takes place before the advent of the Knights Radiant. Dalinar tells him to write a book dictating his philosophy for people. Noadon rejects the idea. After a bit, he apologizes for rejecting the idea, then states, At times it seems to me that to be human is to want that which we cannot have. Noadon leaves. Dalinar calls out to the voice that shows up at the end of the visions, but the voice does not answer. He wakes up from the vision. Navani asks what the last thing he said in the vision was. Navani believes she recognized the gibberish she spoke at the end. To their surprise, the exact phrase Dalinar uttered when saying, To be human is to want that which we cannot have, is in the Analectics as a line from a song, a line possibly written in the Dawn Chant by the heralds themselves. This proves to them that the visions are indeed real.
Guys, so many revelations this chapter.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so usually we start recording Hero of Ages first, and then do Way of Kings, but I was so excited about many of these revelations that when we got in the call, I said, Kitty, we have to do Way of Kings first.
So here we are.
Indeed, but before I can even get to the revelations, we have to do the death rattle first.
Mm-hmm.
Oh no, I lost the page. Damn it. Okay, found it. The death is my life. The strength becomes my weakness. The journey has ended. Dated Beta Banaz 1173, 95 seconds pre-death. Subject a scholar of some minor renown. Sample collected secondhand, considered questionable.
Considered questionable. I don't know how many questionable samples do we have? Is that going to actually end up being relevant, or is it just a nice added flair?
Ooh, I don't know. I think there have been others that were considered questionable, yeah?
Mm-hmm.
There must have been.
But yeah, that's just my question. Just that came to mind. Is just okay. Does it become relevant, or is it just showing that this is how they take samples, and samples can be questionable?
Right. Well, I mean, if we're playing the telephone game, sample collected
Mhm.
secondhand, then
Yeah.
it could be that something has changed, that this isn't the
Mhm.
exact death rattle, but it approximates it.
Yeah.
And we're getting more of that sort of Taoism-y opposites, yin and yang idea. The death is my life, strength is weakness, journey ended.
Mhm.
I'm wondering if maybe it's one of the final sayings, life before death, journey before destination, and then one of the secret ones that Teft said some of the Radiant sects had, but this one is said, when you die.
Mhm. Yeah. It follows the same sort of format. That's what it reminded me of.
Yeah.
Like, well, I refer to the journey. I think it's strength before weakness as well as part of it. Journey before destination, life before death. So it seems like it's part of a speech around that.
Yeah. It does have that speech feeling to it.
Mm.
It's that oathy feeling to it. While we're on the death rattles, unless there's anything else you want to say about it,
Nope, that's it.
I was reviewing Zeth chapters for very
Hmm.
exciting things. We'll get into that a little bit later. I noticed something this week. The very first death rattle is: the love of men is a frigid thing, a mountain stream only 3 steps from the ice. We are his, O Stormfather, we are his. It is but 1,000 days and the Everstorm comes. So I wondered this week, is there a way, because all of these are dated. This one's
Hmm.
1171, and we're in 1173 now, I think. Is there a way to track the days? Like, is there a countdown that we could discern from the death rattles to when the Everstorm hits?
I mean, that could, yeah, we would need to know how many months there are in a year, how many days there are in a week, because yeah, they're dated, cool, but not within our knowledge.
Look, I bet someone smart enough could figure it out.
Probably has, yeah.
Yeah,
If that is the case, obviously.
yeah. It could, because then I'm wondering, well, if this is the prologue chapter, what if this is the first death rattle to have occurred? And what if, like, it sets off a countdown?
Mm.
While we're here in the prologue chapter, we're going to jump to the end of the chapter super quickly and the revelation. You remember when I had predicted that the drunken man in the prologue chapter is the missing Herald statue guy,
Yes.
right? Yeah.
Hmm.
So, with the revelation that Dalinar isn't speaking gibberish, but a foreign ancient language, forgotten language, I think there is more substance to my prediction, because the exact line in the prologue is, "Have you seen me?" the man asked with slurred speech. He laughed, then began to speak in gibberish. Gibberish is a specific word there, yeah?
Yeah. It's a signal. It's trying to tell us something.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, it's. I think you're onto something.
Yay! I did a smart.
Hmm.
But on that note, we're going to get to the Zeth revelation specifically when we get to a specific line in chapter 60, which had me doing some word searches.
All right. Yeah.
The chapter opens with Adolin working hard to convince Dalinar not to retire, and it's the cutest father-son moment, because Dalinar lets him make his arguments, and then he's like, "Well, I'm convinced, son. You have convinced me." And then there's a bit of prose that says something to the effect of, he didn't tell his son that he had already decided not to retire. It's very cute.
Yeah. He lets him believe it. I think that's nice.
Yeah, gives him some confidence.
Yeah. Rebuilds a bit of their relationship, kind of thing.
Yeah. He does insist that an order be notarized by a trusted person and the king himself to witness that Adolin has the power to depose if necessary.
Yeah, that's smart.
Or is it? I'm not so
Mm,
sure. It's probably
what?
smart.
Yeah, I don't know. I trust. Look, I think Adelin's a young fool, but I trust him still to
Yeah, I
do
guess he
what's right.
won't be trigger happy on that button.
Not yet. It'll take some time for him to be manipulated out of it, if that's the case, if that's what's going to happen. Like, and I say manipulated out of it when what I mean is manipulated out of doing what's right for his dad.
Yeah, I think you're
Being
right.
convinced his dad is too mad or something like that.
Or wants to attempt something that is just too
Yeah.
out there for him.
Mm.
Adolin still doesn't trust Sadius, though.
Mm-hmm.
We'll get to that in just a moment. They walk into a chamber, and Dalinar starts thinking on the Storm Wardens as an institution. He finds it strange that they are able to essentially accomplish so much without being able to read. He thinks on glyphs, he thinks they're pictures, it's so much better. And he laments that the institution is that the institution makes people uncomfortable, but they're so damn useful. That they are frequently wrong, but more often they're right.
Yeah, well, that sounds like they're better than most weathermen, so that's good. And you do need to keep them around because all of their lives revolve around the timing of these storms.
Right.
Cannot just go and get caught out in the rain. This is not a normal storm that we're used to. Even a normal storm is pretty dangerous. But yeah, I hope that's not like foreshadowing or something, some sort of tyrant
Trigger.
going, the Storm Wardens are heretics or whatever. Like, I hope that that's not at some point expanded.
I mean, the ominous feeling I have about them as an institution now, thanks to this specific segment, does give me Grandmaster conspiracy vibes.
Yeah, it's possible. It's an institute thing. Yeah. But the discomfort that like the most populace they have is, oh well, it's close to prophecy. You know, ooh, we're predicting things, which is prophecy. But it's like, no, it's just science, I would expect. It's not listening to the wind or something like that.
Right. Well, apparently gambling comes damn close to prophecy, so
Yeah. They're very scared of prophecy.
yeah. Which, by the way, I really like, just as a thing. Adolin continues on about Sadius being untrustworthy, and Dalinar suggests that he's the one manipulating Sadius rather than the other way around.
Eh, um, I'm not too sure about that. Like, I think he's just putting that's Cope. He's putting the best face on it, but I think it's more of he knows he's being manipulated by Sadius, so he has the knowledge, which is better than nothing. But yeah, I wouldn't call that manipulating Sadius.
Yeah, I mean, there's something funny to me about manipulative goodness, like, ha, you're a bad person, but I made you do something good. Nerd. Got you. Kind of a thing. But at the end of the day, what Dalinar and Sadius have going on is a mutually agreeable deal. And
Yeah.
so long as they continue to find it lucrative, manipulation doesn't necessarily need to come into play. And if there's a point where either party doesn't feel it's lucrative anymore, you can renegotiate, right?
Yeah.
And like that's not an excuse to relinquish whatever control you do have in the relationship. But
It doesn't mean don't be wary either.
yeah, I don't know. Trust is trust but verify. Just be smart. Just be smart. Navani pipes up that she's never trusted Sadius, which cool, neat, makes sense. But Dalinar insists, well, he never challenged Gavilar, and being High Prince gives him enough power, along with the benefit of being able to blame the king when something goes wrong. So he's in a good position.
Yeah. And that means he could manipulate things and take advantage of his position to bring down the downfall of people.
Navani does not like that her son is easily manipulatable by someone like Sadeas. And, well, Dalinar says he never tried to seize the throne from Gavilar, and he's even better positioned with Elhokar. To which Navani responds, "Because my son's a weakling." Navani said it wasn't an accusation. And then Dalinar responds, "He's not weak, he's inexperienced." I read that and I think, man, that's cold, Navani.
Yeah, it's kind of like she sees it as, oh, well, it's inevitable. It's he's beyond help. It's not that he can be taught to be stronger. Look, we need to see how she interacts with him when she's not just talking behind his back. Does she say this to him? Does she say this to him directly as well? Because that's not going to help him become stronger, I don't think.
No, I mean, like, I don't want the mother who's going to just put the mother goggles on and tell me that everything I'm doing is wonderful and good, because
Yeah, that's
too
true.
much
Yeah.
too much of that and you get like a false sense of confidence, and you don't want false confidence. You want regular confidence, because then it gets embarrassing when you put yourself out there but you're not like nearly as good as people
Mom
expect
said.
you to be, or you've said,
Yeah.
or you've been sold as, and then you fail and
Mhm.
it's terrible. So to a point, I appreciate the honest and direct mother, but at the same time, you don't want the overbearing, impossible to please mother.
Yeah, you don't want to be a destructive mother.
Yeah. But it's very fortunate that Dalinar comes in and he makes the distinction. He's not weak, he's inexperienced, which is why what you've said is so wise, Kitty. We need to know if Navani has tried to teach him not to be weak, or told him about the Game of Thrones, so to speak.
Yeah,
Because,
giving him some sort of guidance.
yeah, because going back to the scene with Dalinar and Navani, where Elhokar announces that Sadeas would be the High Prince of Information, it's like they treat it as if Elhokar has no understanding of what it is that he's just done, and maybe he doesn't, but has anyone told him? Has anyone sat him down and said, "Hey, you're the king. That means people are going to try and manipulate you. You have to understand who are your friends and who are your enemies," and so on. Your position as king isn't as guaranteed as you might hope it would be, type of a situation. But then again, Elhokar's already extremely paranoid, so you probably have to figure out the
Yeah,
right way to approach it.
but you can manipulate paranoia because
Yeah,
it's overwhelming fear. So yeah, I just would need to see a POV with him and his mom, see how she reacts.
yeah. But then we get the segment in which we learn that Navani has more or less created a device that removes pain. You can still feel other feelings, but it removes the sensation of pain,
Yeah.
which is neat. She tests it on Adolin.
Yeah, and he's got like a wrist pain or something, and then he can still feel with his hand. So it's not like it makes you numb; it just takes away pain.
Right.
So my thinking of that was just, oh, it does something like it disperses pain spren. It makes the pain spren go away.
So you think it's then the pain spren that causes the pain, or not the pain that
Yeah, then
attracts the spren?
as I was saying that, I'm like, wait, that doesn't make sense because pain needs to be, the pain spren doesn't create it; they're attracted to it. Yeah.
Yeah. But then we get this wonderful passage. "I think it has a lot of potential. Imagine a few of these on a battlefield to dull the pain of wounded soldiers. Imagine it in the hands of a surgeon who wouldn't have to worry about his patient's pain while working on them," said Navani. I read that and I immediately think, okay, Kaladin is going to be exposed to these things in this way at some point in the future.
Yeah, because you immediately, if you get any sort of idea about medical stuff, you're like, okay, at some point we're gonna have Kaladin and Dalinar together in some way, or close to one another, and we're gonna get Kaladin benefiting from such technology.
Yeah. I'm curious how it will make Kaladin view Kolin Camp. Because it's
Mm.
he's definitely going to interact with them eventually. It's very much building to that. I have no doubt. I'm curious if this will be a positive or a negative for him.
Yeah. How does he explain this away?
Yeah. And here's the thing, pain is kind of important. So application has to be situational. Like, I can only assume that, at least with some wounds, pain will tell you where the issue is.
When I read this as well, I did think of, okay, this is how the Colins and Dalinar and all of them, how they would want to use this invention. But then you think of something like that in the hands of Sadeas, how he would view it as, it's not so much about, oh, the comfort of his soldiers and things like that, and, healing people. It's like, oh, as soon as the person's wounded, they're gone to him anyway. So I was thinking, oh, it might be he would go, cool, let's make some pain-free super soldiers, put this on their in their armor in some way, and yeah, then we have soldiers that don't have any pain
Mm.
and they fight longer. It's
That
that's just considering the way he views the bridge crews. That's how I thought of how he would see it.
yeah, that would definitely be a Sadius thing. Although I wonder how cost
Mm.
effective it would be. Is it super expensive to make these Fabrials for the common soldier? Yeah, that road could lead to like the pewter dragging issue, which
Hmm.
is if you take a hit and you don't think it's as bad as it really is, so you keep going, you could do more damage to yourself than not.
Yeah, but you're doing more damage to the enemy, right? And that's all that matters to Sadeas. Everyone's
True.
dispensable. Yeah.
Very true. The conversation moves on to the topic of technological advancement. Navani's very excited for the future. The conversation turns to shard blades, and Navani has the comment, and I'll read more of the segment as well, on the shard bows and new inventions. But as far as I can tell, they use a completely different design principle from true shard plate. The ancients must have had a wondrous grasp of engineering. No, Dalinar said. I've seen them, Navani. They're ancient. Their technology is primitive. And the Dawn cities? Navani asked skeptically, the Fabrials? I've seen neither. There are shard blades in the visions, but they seem so out of place. Perhaps they were given directly by the heralds, as the legends say. So I read that, and it occurred to me that there is such a parallel between the Alethi, or humans, dare I say, writ large, and their level of technological advancement in
Mm.
correlation to the shard blades, and then with the Parshendi and their level of technological advancement in correlation to their advanced weaponry, which I think is really interesting. What do you think about that, Kitty?
Where did they get this from?
Mm.
They didn't develop it themselves. Well, it seems unlikely.
Yeah. So, do you think then that the shard blades were a gift from the heralds?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay. Cool. So then who's giving the Parshendi advanced weaponry? The steel and what have you.
Whoever it's been like passed down,
Hmm.
they found them. I don't know. Yeah, it doesn't have to be that they were first gifted. It's just that they were gifted to someone, and then that's how they were passed down, stolen, taken. I don't know. But the technology itself was the only thing that I'm hearing is the technology itself was not developed
Hmm.
by anyone that is currently around.
Yeah. And then mid conversation, a high storm hits, and there was no indication, or at least if there was, I missed it, that we were in preparation mode for a high storm. So when she disappeared, I was like, wait, what just happened?
Oh, I knew that there was going to be a vision because yeah, he was thinking about the storm wardens and he's walking into a room with what's her name, his son and Navani because he wouldn't be just chilling with Navani.
True.
Yeah, so I was like, okay, they're probably, going towards this, and yeah, it was mostly the thoughts of the storm wardens and Navani's presence, and then, but the thing is that it was mid conversation as well, like
Hmm.
that's it. It wasn't like they were like, okay, let's sit and wait it out. It came quite swiftly.
Right. Yeah. So you're smarter than I am then, because it was a surprise for me, but it totally makes sense when you lay out, oh yeah, he was thinking about the Storm Wardens, and he's with
Mhm.
Navani and Adolin
Yeah.
and Renarin. Uh,
Mhm.
and he finds himself in a very, I think, Chinese-inspired ancient palace
Mhm.
with a man who calls him his old friend, a very regal looking man. So I think it's easy to tell right away that this guy is the leader of whatever palace it is they're in.
Mhm.
And Dalinar tries to fish for information without giving away that he doesn't know anything.
Yeah, he's trying to fit in.
Yep. So he speaks vaguely. It's like I don't know what to say or anything. We get big lore drop, and we're gonna get to the
Mhm.
Zeth stuff right after. The
Mhm.
man says, Alakavish was a surge binder. He should have known better, and yet the Nahel bond gave him no more wisdom than an ordinary man. Alas, not all Spren are as discerning as Honor Spren. Nahel bond? In
Yes.
context, go on.
No, I'm agreeing. Yes, Nahel Bond is very important.
Yes. Uh, in context with the second sentence there, alas, not all Spren are as discerning as Honor Spren, pretty much lets you know, and along with the word Surgebinder, that the
Mhm.
Nahel bond is in reference to the Kaladin Syl relationship, right?
Yeah. Mhm.
And this lets us know that it's not just Wind Spren, but it could be other kinds of Spren, including Honor Spren, right?
Yeah. I'm wondering though, like, because they've said that Syl isn't a wind spren anyway. But yeah, maybe that's the base spren that she was, which was a wind spren, and then she went through some sort of transformation through this bond. But either way, we've got confirmation that this bond. Well, we've got a name for this bond with a
Yes.
surge binder and a spren.
Yes.
And
So then I remembered a specific line in a Zeth chapter. Now, I know for a fact that we had wondered if Zeth had a Spren in the past.
mhm.
And you had wondered if he had killed the Spren, possibly. And that was what turned him into one who takes away, or something to that effect. Yeah?
Yeah, some sort of disgrace. The disgrace he seems to talk about. But maybe
Yeah.
it's viewed that this bond right now in for Shin people, maybe it's viewed that the bond is a curse.
Right. That's possible
Mm.
too. So I perused the bulk of the Zeth chapters up to this point, and we got 3 sentences, and I'll save the specific one I remembered for last. Zeth's honor would not allow him to betray his mission or seek death, but if that death occurred, he would welcome it. The second is, his honor had forced him to discard the white clothing, as it would have made him easier to recognize. And then the one that set me down this rabbit hole, this is in reference to Voidbringers. His punishment declared that they didn't. His honor demanded that they did. And we know that Syl knows things.
Mhm.
Uh, so I am. When you look at all 3 of these sentences, the H isn't capitalized, but the way they are
Mhm.
structured leaves it ambiguous, such that it could be just the way Zeth thinks about his honor spren.
Yeah. He doesn't seem to we haven't had it look, we haven't had him speaking directly to it. So but that doesn't rule out that he does. That doesn't mean that he doesn't ever. It's just that in these
Mhm.
POVs we've had him he doesn't.
Yeah.
It could be a later reveal that he does speak to this on his brain, or there are different kinds of bonds and you don't actually talk to an honest brain, or you're not supposed to talk to the spren that you're not supposed to be able to talk to.
Maybe honor spren just aren't talkative. If you,
Yeah,
if you,
I don't. Yeah,
if you are the manifestation of honor itself, given intelligence, I imagine you make for a fairly stuffy conversation.
yeah, it's very stoic. And yeah, no chattiness and no sassiness like we have from Syl.
Yeah.
Lame.
Right?
Mm,
And yet it would work with Zeth's stoic attitude.
yeah. Yeah, I think that does set up the reveal. It makes sense to me that
Yeah.
he could have this honest brain.
I definitely think that Sanderson wrote it ambiguously as such to foreshadow a reveal
Hmm.
later.
Yeah.
So the man mentions the word surge binders again, and Dalinar thinks, what's a surge binder? But he can't ask without seeming out of place. But it's good that he learns the term, I think.
Yeah. And we also then know that there is no knowledge of this in the Alethi culture of a surge binder, because I mean he would know about that.
Yeah.
I feel like that's something a soldier would know.
Yeah. And the story that we get from this is that this Alakavesh, who was a surge binder, essentially did a mutiny or a coup of some kind. He sought advantage because this man who is speaking, Noadon, is lamenting that they aren't better
Mhm.
than this, so to speak. The Nahel bond is supposed to make them better. I'm looking for a specific line, which I can't quite seem to find. But as he's lamenting, at one point he specifically says he wants people to stop seeking advantage over one another. That phrase, seek advantage, when I read it, rubbed me very strongly as, oh, such an Elend thing to think about.
Such an un-Alethi thing to think about. We are in the Alethi kingdom or city or whatever at this point. It's like we're seeing the history, the origins of some part of the Alethi people. And it's like this is what they used to be. And now now it's actually kind of part of their culture to seek advantage over each other, to fight each other.
Yeah. And I guess that this is a theme that Sanderson himself really likes to think on and write about and ponder.
Yeah.
Fighting for advantage at the expense of others.
Yeah.
Noadon wonders if their abilities, whatever they may be, do mean that they are chosen by God, divinely elected to lead, but then he wonders about the responsibility that that carries with it.
Yeah, it should. We've just maybe these abilities he's talking about. Maybe he's a surge binder as well.
I think he is, yeah.
Yeah, so it's like our ability. So maybe all of them were surge binders, like all the leadership or something. Yes, because that's the kind of idea behind it. That okay, there's divinely elected, I suppose. But then you see someone divinely elected is the person he's lamenting now, the person
Yeah.
who's done some sort of
Betrayed them in some way.
yeah.
So I guess then not everyone can be a surge binder.
Mm.
So
You have to be chosen, I suppose, by a spring or something like that.
yeah,
Or it has to become possible for the spring to
right.
just to what do you call it? Like bind to you. I don't know. We'll
Right.
find out at some point, hopefully, how it
Absolutely we
works.
will. So they step onto a balcony, and Dalinar is shocked by two things. One, to discover that he's in Alethkar, or Kolinar, more
Hmm.
specifically. And I loved the rock formations nearby were less weathered. That was amazing flavor for me right there. But then he looks down and he sees thousands of corpses, and among them, he even picks out some of the rock creatures as well. And he notes they aren't just stones, they are creatures of stone.
Mm. Yeah, we have not seen that out
Mm-hmm.
and about. Like they're not Kremlin thingies; they're actual rock people. Okay.
Yep. And Dalinar asks what happened, and the man essentially informs him it was a desolation. This is the result of the desolation. We learn that it was 11 years of war. 9 out of 10 people are dead, and there are several nations, or kingdoms rather, that are gone, and it's noteworthy that Dalinar has never heard of those kingdoms.
Yeah, they're gone because they've just been wiped out.
Yeah. But they survived. It's really awesome and intimidating, and in a small way hopeful, that we now know, or rather have a better idea of what they will be up against. And I guess it is survivable, even if folks are at war when the Everstorm hits because of whatever this Alakavesh did. But obviously, you are going to want to not be at war when it hits so that, you can survive together.
Is the Everstorm war itself, though? Is the
What do you mean?
Everstorm like, is the Everstorm like demons coming for you? And that's the fight that you're supposed to have. It's not just a storm that you have to weather. It's actually a whole conflict with creatures of the dark.
I think it is that.
Mm.
The Voidbringers.
Yeah. So, yeah, I suppose you can't. Being at war while that happens is just silly. I don't know how
Yeah.
they manage that, but
Yeah.
but they clearly did.
Yeah. Dalinar realizes that this vision occurs before the advent of the Night's Radiant, which is neat and smart.
He surmises it. Yeah, he's like, okay, well, there's no shard plate. There's no actual knights around, so no mention of them.
Yep. And we get a very funny interaction or segment. Dalinar realizes he's speaking to Noadon because Dalinar quotes the Way of Kings, and Noadon says, using my own sayings against me. And this sets up a joke that happens later on. It's not like written as a joke, but the situation is humorous, where Dalinar suggests you should write a book. And Noadon is like, that is a stupid idea.
Yeah, like hello, do you see what's happening over here? Like, oh, a book. This book is gonna change this field of death below us.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah, it is very, very funny. But it's not a stupid idea. I mean, it survives, obviously, to a degree, and inspires many generations, even if it falls out of favor eventually.
Yeah, it's created for a purpose, though. So maybe he first dismisses it, but then he does say, okay, well, it makes kind of sense to have something to follow. Yeah. It seems like that this could be the reason it happens at all, which is so crazy. Like we've wondered whether these visions are they happening like like possessions, that he's gone back in time and makes something happen that will then lead him to be where he is. Like what is this time travel, or just going into a vision of what actually did happen? Because then if this is time travel of some sorts, he has created the Way of Kings for himself by telling this king to write it down.
Right.
Yeah.
And it is through this conversation where Dalinar is trying to convince him to write a book that we do get the line from Noadon, I just wish there were a way to convince the kings, the ones still alive, not to seek advantage over one another. So that's the line I referenced earlier with regard to Elend.
Well, that's, and it's also what Dalinar is trying to do.
Yeah.
Trying to unite them.
Yeah. And Dalinar is very disconcerted and shocked that Noadon would be saying this is a time for action and a time for the sword. But then Noadon clears his head and says, I apologize, Karm. I should not dismiss your suggestions right after asking for them. I'm on edge, as I imagine that we all are. At times it seems to me that to be human is to want that which we cannot have. For some that is power.
Roll credits.
For me it is peace. Right? Roll credits. The name of the chapter.
The chapter.
It's a powerful statement, a powerful line. It does have me wondering if he is genuinely traveling back in time. It's cute, I think, to think of Dalinar as being the one to give him the idea to write the book, but no, I do not think he's genuinely time traveling.
Yeah, he's not effective. He's not actually having an effect on timelines.
Correct.
It could just mean that somebody did suggest a book. This was the moment that it was suggested to him.
Yeah.
And that's it. He's just living it, but he doesn't have a script.
Correct. Noadon leaves, and Dalinar starts speaking to the voice that usually speaks at the end, but this time the voice does not respond. And I felt very ominous at that one. I felt like maybe whoever is sending these visions became forcibly unable to speak during the vision. And like, what if this is the last vision or something? I get scary, ominous vibes from the fact, not that it was done to be uniquely impactful for Dalinar.
Yeah, I don't know. A change in the format of the visions is something that should be concerning. I agree. It does make me feel like, wait, is this the last one? Because it helps that the last one is the one that confirms that they're real, but we do need more information. We need more.
Yeah, very much so.
And what's going to happen? Does this mean something new happens during storms to him? Like, lots of concern.
Yeah. What happened to Voice Guy?
Or is it because Voice Guy is in this vision?
Oh,
but he doesn't recognize the voice, right?
That's an interesting thought.
But he would recognize the voice. He would recognize the voice of Noadon as familiar. I think he would perceive it as familiar to the almighty voice.
Very true. The high storm ends, the vision ends, and essentially Navani chose to write down the gibberish, and she recognizes the last thing that was said, which is the title of the chapter, and she realizes that he's not speaking gibberish, he's speaking whatever language the Dawn Chant is written in. And they take it as proof that the visions are real, and they've made a magnificent breakthrough, and now they can translate the Dawn Chant.
Yeah, it's a scientific discovery. Like it's like a what's it? That stone? Or like a Rosetta Stone.
The Rosetta Stone, yeah.
Yeah. But I just remembered, as you were recapping a bit of the vision, in the vision, they spoke about men reading, or the guy mentioned
what a
reading.
Strange time this is.
Yeah, he's like, oh my goodness, like men reading? It's like, yeah, they wrote books themselves. Okay? Just don't draw silly pictures.
In each vision, there's usually something that shocks Dalinar's preconceived notions about society. He was shocked in Feverstone Keep when a commander was a Dark Eyes. He's shocked here about that. So it feeds into his contemplating the way things are done. Why are there no shards for the working man? And it even influences Adolin when Adolin's looking through the trading market area and starts to have his revelation from the last chapter that he was in.
Yeah.
It's good stuff.
Yeah. Why spreading the idea that things were different once. And just because it's the way it's always been doesn't mean, well, the way they think it's always been doesn't mean it's correct or has basis in fact.
Right. Excellent chapter. Very exciting.
Excellent. Yeah, and so many insights. I agree. We had to record this immediately.
I'm quite proud with some of my discoveries.
I don't think I would have gone anywhere with those. I would not have made those discoveries. I am really just along for the ride, and I pick up some clues and then give them to you, and you do the thinking.
I don't know. I've been listening to the episodes that air as they air, and the last few, you've called quite some good stuff. Oh man.
Like the video.
If you like, thank you all for tuning in. Have a great rest of your week. Subscribe to That Darn Kitty if you get a chance, because she's got a great channel. And we'll see you next time. Okay, thanks,
Okay, thanks,
bye.
bye.